Welcome on a beautiful sunny day with the Diwali session going on.
It's 11 o'clock.
And the light, the sparkle, the sweet, the joy, the fun, along with the purpose of all of us being here on this universe, being here with the samsara, is a joy, fun, and a question. What is the purpose of my life? Is question one. How do I get to what my visions are, my goals are? How do I fulfill the task which I have taken up and taking up for the young adults and for the elderly? How do I complete the journey with a smile and a peace in my face? So let us start with our salutations to our Guru Deva, to our Divine Mother. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Damaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Divine Mother, Krishna, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, Mahavatar, Kalpa Yogi, Deathless Master Babaji, bless us so that we may fulfill the purpose of our life on this earth, take up the journey and spread this beautiful knowledge and the wisdom as we learn to each and every one and make a change in their life, in turn in our own life and the closest of the family members in their life. Salutations, pranam to Paramahansa Yogananda Gurudeva, Sri Yukteswar Giri Lahiri Mahasaya, to Swami Sri Vivekananda, Karma Yogi, Vedantist and Bhakta, Holy Mother Sharada, Paramahansa Ramakrishna. Bless us all. May each one be protected and guided to fulfill the purpose of our life and the journey. Jai Guru. Today, we have quite a few things, and time is of course short, and we should be soon starting in a few days' time these physical sessions, face-to-face in the ashrama. These things are working out. And during this time, I wish to share with you today that what we had taken up on the last Thursday, and go from here, this one, share with you a bit of the slides. Which one? This one. Diwali, we talked about, and Diwali is still going on and everybody's in festive mode. I got the other day in my meditation a different impression than just the crackers and sweets and so what. I mean, that is there in 4th of July also. In America and world over, they do that. What is so beautiful, great, there is good, and there is also a journey. And I got 3 beautiful messages. I will reiterate, I covered it on Thursday for all of you to think about it. And some more discoveries came up. And from there, we will take it up to the journey as we go along. Let me keep narrating it. So the first part of the journey came about that Diwali is celebrated in India and the rest of the parts of the world by those who are believers for various reasons. And you all know about the reasons of Ayodhya, Pandavas winning after the 12 years of exile, coming back, or Rama winning against Ravana, killing him, and coming back to Ayodhya with 14 years of exile, and Sita being kidnapped, and Krishna killing Narakasura, and then, making all the gopis become free. And like that, there are so many beautiful mythological stories. And of course, they are true as we believe. And also they give us nice background to the story. Now, with all these things in background, my question was that besides the reasons for the celebration, or whether it is the festive season for Kartikeya is the month during which the harvesting is done, what is it? And in my meditation, I got 3 messages. And so the first message was that the holy festival of the Diwali is a reminder to us that we are in bondage and we need freedom. As I was doing my little research, I keep working with Shradha ma'am and my team continuously. We are looking at it. And I was very surprised to find this samsara, which is called the bondage, Buddha also had declared. And notice the picture, the Buddhist impression, which I have put it up onto this slide, is the same statement which was given by a monk from Himalaya. And he says, samsara is separation from each other. The moment we say samsara, it is separation. And at the end of it, we will get on to it. In Mandakya Upanishad, Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru, remember Shankaracharya's Guru Govindapada and Gaudapada, Guru's Guru. He had said the same thing close to 1600 years ago. And he had declared that it is a bondage because of separation. What is this separation? Separation, the moment I bring duality. Mandakya Upanishad tells us, I'm going to couple lots of information which are of interest to us intellectually in a story format, and also go ahead and exchange and present every celebration, every things which are happening in our life, and the great, beautiful Vedanta, which is Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. All 3 put together is Vedanta. So Paramahamsa Yogananda also dwelt intensely in Vedanta and wrote his commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And same is Shankaracharya has written in Bhagavad Gita. I am lucky to get my hands on to Shankaracharya's writing. I was blessed to get Paramahamsa Yogananda's Bhagavad Gita. Till then, I was not understanding Bhagavad Gita. I was reading it because I was told reading Bhagavad Gita is good. And I didn't get the lucky visit like a monk visited Thapliyal Sahib in Banaras and came down and planted the seed of Bhagavad Gita. And that's how Thapliyal Sahib, you became so good at it. My namaskar and pranam to all of you, and to you, Thapliyal Sahib. And also Brahma Sutra. Now, all 3 put together is the Vedanta. Can we present it to the modern man and woman with the scenario of how to utilize in our current time and life and change the very course of life towards happiness, towards joy, towards peace, towards ananda. Recollect God. We were talking about the other day, Shradha and I, we had lots of very long discussions, and we were having about this, the theistic religion, God created this universe, and the Vedantas talking about, and who are you? We'll not get into that some other time, but right now, with this celebration, why is samsara called? Gaudapada is saying it is because of dualism, and dualism comes from refreshing our memory from nama, rupa, babhara, name, form, and function. My name, my body, I'm a man, I'm a woman, and my work. This is where the duality comes in. Mandakya Upanishad talks about four states: the Jagrat, the Swapna, and Shushupti, deep sleep, a weakened state. Is there dualism? Yes, there is. Everything in this universe that you perceive is other than you. And how is it other than you? Then how is it that you're perceiving? Because they are objects, including our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, our love, our hatred. Everything goes into an object. I'm making it very brief. We'll not get into detailed discussion on them. We'll do it in the next session where we go into the Mandakya Upanishad detail. So there is dualism. As per Gaudapada, he says this dualism is the bondage of samsara and is the cause of all suffering, which is what Shankaracharya goes ahead, and he's written a beautiful hymn on this. Manasyo avani bhavi. He said the moment you go ahead and go over this dualism, you have gone away from suffering and separations. And in Diwali celebration, and this samsara is once again noticed, is declared as the freedom, is a celebration of the freedom from bondage. Why should it be bondage? But the question came up. Second message of the duality is the power of giving. We must give, and give what? Give everything, including not just money and gift and sweets and, joy in functions with, laughter. It is also giving your time, taking care. And third point, that we should be blessed that we have the power to give. I may be anyone, but if I can give, I've been blessed with it. So it is like refreshing the way we do Ganga Arati in Kashi, Benares, in Haridwar, in Lakshmanjula. We take the water of the river Ganga and worship Mother Ganga with the same water. We are giving today from the supreme power and the fluidity, flow of money, finance, time, whatever coming into us, and we sharing with others. So we should be aware, be conscious. This is not mine. I am just like a simile Amazon.com delivery guy handing over to someone. So we should do it with humbleness and not with ego and boisterousness. I have the power, so I'm giving it to NGOs and destitute and those who are rich and those who are poor and my bigger friends and my smaller friends. No, in every place, we have been blessed to be the giver. So do the giving with that kind of a. And I was amazed to see the life circle of as you see the chart, the way Buddhists explain. Now, going into the more about Deepavali, we had talked about it is there in the Skanda Puran, in Padma Puran, and in Sanskrit, many other slokas. The yogic process, yogic Patanjali Yoga Sutra, in which they're saying that there is an answer to this bondage, and in which that row of light, which is Deepavali, which is being talked about, Deepa Avali. Avali is row, Deepa is light. In the row of light which is within us, which is from the Muladhara Chakra to Sahasrara, those row of 7 light, you're supposed to take in this journey of the earthly, awaken those lights. In other words, get the Kundalini Shakti awakened. And with that, we came into the Mother Kali. Now, the question came up, and I was surprised to go through it. And intensely, I was reading in this and listening last 2-3 days. Why did Mother Kali become so famous? You know, in India, almost everywhere you will find Mother Kali, in places like Nepal and the Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Himalayas, Uttaranchal, and the northern part. Everywhere Mother Kali is very famous. Also goes on to the West Bengal, where you all are aware of Paramahansa Ramakrishna. But I was amazed to see the Mother Kali is very famous in America. And Americans are narrating Mother Kali. And you know something wonderful I heard, and it really amusingly electrified me with the statement. And what is one of the lady monk, she is telling, and one of the gentleman monk who said the same thing. And it was also mentioned by one of the Ramakrishna order monk. And what is the statement? He says, Mother Kali, I would love to have a Mother Kali as my mother. Why? Because I don't want any, notice the word, I don't want any Nansy Pansy mother for my mother who can't protect me. I would rather have Mother Kali who is not a Nancy Pansy mother, and she can protect me from anything and anywhere. And beautifully, Swami Vivekananda, how did he embrace? And look at it, we talking about Paramahansa Yogananda with Mother Kali. In the autobiography, he particularly in page 78, 79, and he goes ahead and talks about it to throughout in the initial part of it, like whatever he would make out of an earthen pot, the shape of a Mother Kali, and worship. And he would tell his sister that whatever I want from my mother gives it. So they were on the rooftop and sister said, can you get me that kite? He said, yes. And then Mukunda said, I prayed and prayed, and there suddenly the kite lost and it came floating by and came and landed on my rooftop. You and I, many of us have been there several times. It's a very powerful house. And same place, she got frightened and she started at the same time fighting. Mother of Mukunda eventually told Mukunda, you cannot utilize these powers, because he said, the sister said, look, do you know, I got a boil, this boil. Mukunda said, I can also have a boil. He said, show it to me. He said, okay. And he said, I prayed. And on his left arm, there was a huge boil by the next morning. Sister got very frightened when running to mother, he's doing things. So this is the influence of the Mother Kali came into the life. Mukunda thereafter in Dakshineshwar with his sister and brother-in-law meditating. And brother-in-law said, you were meditating, all right, but remember, lunchtime is 11 o'clock. 11 to 12, they have the lunchtime. Prasad, Visaran. So you better finish your meditation. And Paramahansa Yogananda went into meditation, went into samadhi. 4 hours went by. And he clean forgot. And as he got up, he found his brother-in-law pacing up and down and up and down. Very angry. We have lost. It was already close to 4 o'clock. Paramahansa Yogananda said, you will get your prasad. And as he was talking to him, he found one Pandit coming from the, if you have been to the Kanishwar, they have that, behind the mandir, near the office. From there, one Pandit coming with the prasad and said, I saw you meditating, so I kept it aside for you. And he came and gave it to them. And Paramahansa Yogananda telling his brother-in-law, so you got your prasad, no? And appeased. So he says that thereafter he saw door was closed of the temple. As he was praying, he found suddenly the door opening up. There was nobody else there. And he saw Divine Mother coming out and, becoming larger and larger than anything, and divine visions. He had many experiences, Yogananda, with Master Mahasaya, who was a disciple of Paramahansa Ramakrishna. And going on to the Kashmiri Shaivism. In Kashmiri Shaivism, we talked about it in brief. We talk about in Advaita, is Brahman, is everything, which in turn has given, the Brahman has given the power to, in the form of the Shakti, to the Prakriti, which is what is Kashmiri Shaivism is talking about. And Prakriti is nothing else but the divine Mother Kali, or in any other form of the mother form. And she is the one who's creator of everything, creator of this universe. And Brahman, which is so called, the definition of the Taittiriya Upanishad, refreshing memory of God, of Ishvara. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Brahman is Ishvara. Satyam, existence. Existence, Jnanam, consciousness. Anantam, infinite. And this infinite comes in, Anandam comes in, when you get Purnatvam. Purnatvam, I'm so happy. I have everything. I don't need anything, whatever I need. There is a discrepation between Gaudapada and Shankaracharya. Little going off the track, Gaudapada used to be called Thakkar Maharaj. Thakkar, as you know, in India, in the plains, Thakkar is called beggar. Like in America, you have hobos, like you have beggars in the plains. In the mountains and Himalayas, Thakkar Maharaj are those who don't care for anything. And they are totally dependent on God. Totally. Absolutely. And fearless. Gaudapada was like that. And this description differences came in because why was there such a gap between Gaudapada, who seemed to be very staunch Advaitan, and whereas Shankaracharya, he not only was wise Advaitan, became a Jagat Guru, but he also wrote a lot of poetry, stotras on Mother Saraswati, on Krishna, on Mother Durga, and many Dvaitavad talks also he talked about it. So that is where he mixes very well with the dualism and non-dualism, Advaita and Dvaita. Going on to the Shaivism is there in Kashmir. They said, yes, Brahman, what you call Brahman is actually Shiva. And Prakriti is the mother. And they go ahead, and the basic difference of the Advaita and the Kashmiri Shaivism, in Kashmiri Shaivism, the consciousness, which is Shiva, Supreme Purusha, but he also has an awareness of the consciousness. This awareness of the consciousness, the moment it does that, Advaitavadi does not agree with that. And they say, the moment you come to know, consciousness cannot be known, cannot be described, cannot be written. The moment you know, the mind comes in. The moment you bring in mind, which is Prakriti. So that's the basic difference. In Advaita, there is only one, and that is consciousness, which with existence create this world and come into Anand, the joyful living. Now in this, we are going into a simple statement. In Bengali, Paramahansa Ramakrishna used to say, in bondage, we are jivas. We, people like you and me, in duality. In bondage of samsara. The moment we freedom from bondage, we are Shiva. So, Shivoham, Shiva Swarupoham, is the time when you're free from bondage. In Bengali, they say, Pasha Bandha Jeev, Pasha Mukta Shiv. Pasha is bondage. Like you must have read it in when Ravana, Indrajit fighting with Lakshmana, sent that Pasha Astra, which came and totally bound them. Yeah. Now, in this, samsara is what? The dualism. What is it? Bondage. Bondage is we age, we degenerate, we go old, we die. But the consciousness cannot do all this. The moment you become mukta, you become Shiva, your body will still die, but you become infinite. You is who? That's you. Who are you? Who am I? Am I this body or the name or the form? Or am I something else? That's the journey of the Advaita. So to explain it, very simple, in the Kashmiri Shaivism, they have two stories. I'll just touch upon the second story. I covered both the stories on the Thursday. There is a man who's a Shiva Bhakta, and he has been very, religiously, without any break, continuously covering the Shiva mantra, Shiva Sritam, Shivoham, Shivoham. And yet he never experienced Shiva present. So in his dream one day, he experiences Shiva coming in. He tells Shiva, you're so kind. You always grant everything. But why is it I can't see you? Shiva said, okay, you will see me tomorrow. What do I look for? He asked Shiva. Shiva said, look for a headless man with no head. The next day he was looking everywhere. Everybody's got head. Everybody walking around with a headless. And he was saying, but Shiva can't tell a lie. And he started, where is it? And then eventually he started looking at himself. And he looked at himself and looked at his body. And he came to body and he said, oh, I am the one without the head. So this is where it came that Chidananda Rupaham, Shivoham, Shivoham. And this says, this self-awareness, Sanskrit Advaita word is called Vimarsha, a little technical name, my power of consciousness, my power of the knowledge for bliss. And with Kriya, we convert our knowledge into action, and Shiva manifests as per. Coming into Vivekananda, the question came up in my mind. Vivekananda, as you remember, he started off his journey in the Brahma Samaj as Narad, and he had signed that I will not worship a temple, worship any idol, promised to the Brahma Samaj, and became a member. And now, when he happened to meet Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he fell in love with his simplicity. He loved Paramahamsa Ramakrishna's knowledge, the wisdom, and the complicated Vedanta in very simple language. And yet he would not worship Mother Kali. For 6 years, he kept fighting. How did he fall in love with it? I'll just share with it a little bit. And yet the question came to my mind. There is no doubt that Vivekananda became absolute slave of Mother Kali. And he's saying it. If you read the books of Vivekananda, especially his 2nd of July in Long Island, Thousand Island, inspired talk in that booklet. Tuesday, 2nd of July was his talk, 1845, in which he's saying, my Guru made me a slave. How did he do that? I'll just quickly do the beautiful story format. We will run through it quickly. He never believed. And then he became a slave of Mother Kali. But the question came to my mind, if he did become a slave, then why did not he, anywhere in India or anywhere in the world, talk about Mother Kali or worshipping Mother Kali? And this answer is, it came to me as we go along. How did he first fall in? You remember his father suddenly died, and as his father died, he, being the eldest in the family, his elders in the family, that is the father's brothers and all, took away all the money and things like that. They blended to such poverty state that they didn't have food to eat. And Vivekananda will go around whole day and he wouldn't eat at home because there's no food. Mother will get some food and keep it for him. She will not eat. And when he will come back at late at night, he was searching for a job. He will keep on drinking water from the roadside tap to fill his stomach and kill his hunger. Such a bad state. Nobody would give him a job. For some reason, he wasn't getting a job. Must be. Mother had a purpose for him to come into this life. And he had already met Paramahansa Ramakrishna. He was already in love. And August 18th, and this was, I'm forgetting the exact year. I think it is 1845 is the time. It is given in Kathamrit. Hajra, one of the disciples of Paramahansa Ramakrishna, is saying that Naren is suffering a lot. He has got no job. And on top of that, he's gone in for a court case because his relatives have kind of taken away everything. So Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, yes, he has defied Mother Kali. And I have prayed for him to Mother Kali, but she is not granting him to remove all his suffering because he has disobeyed Mother Kali. So Hajra says, but his suffering is too much. So Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, as long as you have a body, you would have to, because your body is made by Mother Kali. As per his understanding, he said, Mother Kali is the divine, is the Shakti who is created with Prakriti and Purusha in Dvaita. And in Advaita, he says, the Vedanta is, who is Brahman is Mother Kali. Mother Kali is Brahman. So both are one, and that is one is Mother Kali. He has to obey. And now Vivekananda going round and round, he gets the message, not from anybody, in his own mind, that look, you're searching for it, and you've heard that your Paramahansa Ramakrishna, till then he was not really a guru, but almost like guru. Why don't you go and ask him to ask Divine Mother? And his words are listened to by Mother Kali. She will help you. He goes to Paramahansa Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna says, I don't do those things. I have anyway prayed for you. But Mother is not listening to you because you are not obeying her. You go down and you ask. Vivekananda said, but I don't know anything. I don't know how to pray also. He says, you go, lay down flat in front of her in the temple and just call her up and ask her. I assure you, whatever you will ask, it will come to you. Guarantee. Vivekananda goes, and as he enters the temple, he sees divine, infinite, absolute comes in and in front of him. And seeing the mother actually started, he couldn't ask for a petty thing. He asked, Mother, give me vairag, give me bhakti, give me wisdom, knowledge, jnana, shraddha, bhakti, knowledge, and detachment. He came away. Paramahansa Ramakrishna Guru asked him, did you ask? He said, no, I clean forgot. The Thakur said, come on, go back, ask her again. Because Vivekananda said, I forgot to ask, what do I do now? I've come here to get my job and something. She said, go back and ask. Again he goes back. Again he forgets. Again he asks the same, give me devotion, give me detachment, give me vairag, give me viveka, give me knowledge and give me love for you. Again he comes back. Third time, Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, did you ask or not? He said, no. He said, come on, what is wrong with you? Can't you ask a simple thing? Go back, ask again. And as he is going, Vivekananda is writing it down now in his own words. I felt ashamed of myself. I am going to a king. She is the mother of the universe, the ultimate queen, the king, whatever you call. She has everything. And I'm asking the king for some petty vegetable. Vegetable in the sense, something to eat, to get a job, such petty things. How can I do that? He goes, lays down and said, Mother, I want nothing. Just give me viveka, vairag, give me wisdom, give me love for you, and give me shraddha. And he comes away. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, did you ask? He again says, no. Paramahansa Ramakrishna says, okay, it appears you're not born to enjoy those earthly benefits. And Paramahansa Vivekananda's naturally face fell small. What have I done? I could not ask. And at the same time, he was in elated state. Then Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, okay, go. From today onwards, your family will have no shortage of the basic needs of food and clothes. You will have them. And then Paramahansa Ramakrishna is saying, I will teach you one song. And you sing that song. It was already, he had gone to the temple at 9 o'clock at night. So it was already quite late. I don't know exact time, must be 11, 12. And next day morning, Vivekananda started singing. Next day morning, another devotee comes at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and he finds Paramahansa Ramakrishna sitting there with a smile on his face. Vivekananda is lying on the floor sleeping. And he said, he's sleeping at 12 o'clock? He said, yes. Do you know what? Naran has accepted Mother Kali. And it's such a great news. He's got a great things to be done. These are the turning points of Vivekananda. So when the talk came about Brahman and Shakti, how is it? How can it be? Prakriti and Purusha are two different, and one is Advaitava. And Paramahansa Ramakrishna is an Advaitist. So he explains, can you separate the whiteness of the milk from milk? We can't. He goes on to say, can you separate the heat of the fire from fire? Is it intrinsic quality? Can you separate, he goes on to further, the wriggling motion of a snake from a snake. And the snake will walk straight now or crawl straight. Just like that, you cannot separate mother from Brahman, which is the Shakti, the creator of this universe. And that mother I call Kali. These were the turning points of Vivekananda and in his devotion to the Divine Mother. The first turning point, I already covered it with you. And and the mother comes and gives him the vision. And the second turning point in 1826, just before Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, in 1886, he was to leave his body just 3 days before. He called Naren, made him sit down, and just before he became a sannyas disciple, Thakur only gave them 12 vastras to become sannyasi, renounce the world, the earthly world, the family. He called Naren, he told him to sit down in front of him, and he looked at him and intensely and transferred all his power, spiritual power, into Vivekananda. And both of them went into Samadhi. And after several hours, when Vivekananda came out of Samadhi, he says, he writes it down, I felt like electricity current flowing from my Guru to me. And when I woke up, I saw him crying. And my Guru said, Naren, I have become a fakir, a beggar. Bhikiri hoye geche, in Bengali. Whatever I had, I have given it to you now. And with them, you have work to do in the world outside. And little later, in the Sharat Chandra, one of his disciples, asked him. He was at that time, just before his final departure, Vivekananda, before he left his body in 1904 on 4th of July, before he left his body, Sharat Chandra asked him, why don't you go and take a little rest, take a sabbatical break? Vivekananda said, no. My Guru made me a slave of Mother Kali. And the energy that you've given me, this body cannot rest. I have to continue to work till I leave this body. And a few days later, he left his body. The third turning point, that was the fourth turning point. Third turning point in which he went with Sister Nivedita to Amarnath cave. And in this cave, he prayed to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva in meditation gave him a boon that you will have Ichha Mrityu. You will leave your body as per your wish when you want to leave your body. And as you know, at the age of 29, Vivekananda went to America. And at the age of 39, he left his body. And during this time, you know, this worshipping of Mother Kali, the so-called, the Americans who were the priests, and they saw many Americans are falling in for worshipping Mother Kali. And they had this Mother Kali gruesome picture in which this one, they wanted to show this picture to the people, bleeding mouth, severed head, 52 heads on her neck. But these are not the savior. On one hand, she is doing Varadhan, giving Abhay, and another hand, she's got a soul. And these are all a symbolic meaning. Like those 52 are nothing else but the 52 Sanskrit alphabets. And if you look at carefully, A is the first alphabet, not A, A. Everybody's aware of it. And the last is her. Now, when you put A and her together and put a dot, dot is the symbol of this universe, mother. Omkar, that dot. When you put the dot, it becomes Aham. Aham is I. Everybody calls I. Have you noticed? I don't say this is Robbin Ghosh. This is Robbin Ghosh. If I have to explain, I do. But I say I. Whatever it is doing, I think so. I do so. That I is Aham. That I is in the 52 letter, which is around the neck, is telling this universe is in you. And beautiful, if you write that Aham as A and Han, no, her, no. Han means destruction in Sanskrit. That's A meaning which you cannot destroy. In other words, Ahan means you, that supreme spirit within, cannot be destroyed. This is who you are. I'm going ahead, and the final day was the 4th of July. He had chosen that date 5 days before. 4th of July, he was very fond of American 4th of July, the Diwali of America, celebration, crackers. He chose that day to leave. Imagine, morning, he went, locked himself up in the temple for 3 hours. What happened there, nobody knows. But he came out singing Mother Kali's song. And then he took a long walk. He took 2 classes of Sanskrit. And then he went up to his room in the evening time. He told the brahmachari who was helping him, to please wait outside. I'm going to do some meditation. Don't disturb me. After some time, when the brahmachari didn't find anything, he went to try to peep in. Those of you must have been to Belur Botany ashram. And there he finds that Vivekananda, there is a blood trickling out from the Brahmaranda, and he realized that he is no more. This is how his final day. But the question came from Mary Hale, an American sister, Mary Hale. She goes ahead and asks him, why is it you never talked about Mother Kali? So he says that worshipping Mother Kali is not necessary for the world. What I have given you and what I've given in India, this is writing to her, this letter is available. I have given from the Upanishads, and Upanishad gives you everything that you need to do for liberation. Atma mokshartha jagat hitayacha. That is for self-liberation, which in turn will help the jagat hitayacha. It will help you. Worshipping Mother Kali is my personal fad, and I will keep it at that. That's the end of it. He did not explain. But in that 2nd of July, Tuesday in Long Island, there for selected 12 disciples, he explained to them the power of the Mother Kali and encouraged them to worship Mother Kali. This is the only instance he has talked about it, other than to Sister Nivedita, where he's talked about it. And I would like you to see this particular poem. It is this poem. This poem, he had written down the call of the mother on Mother Kali. And when he wrote it, and Sister Nivedita was present, he wrote it so intensely, this poem, that after doing it, he was so exhausted, meaning so much of focus in this, writing the poem. It's a very powerful poem. And he didn't faint, but he lay down out of exhaustion. Now, with the few minutes available here, I would like you to take you to something called this samsara, which is the duality. So Gaudapada says, he's got a point. He said, yes, the duality would be there when there is mind. If there is mind, there is duality. When you come into manaso abani bhavi, no mind status, then dvaita avalabdhavati, you will not have duality. Now, the question comes in, how do we get this duality understanding? So Jagrut state duality, we are experiencing all the time. What about Swapna, dream state? Our body is there, our mind is there, and body actual is sleeping. But in the mind, we are experiencing many things, and everything that we experience is separate from us. There is duality. What about in deep sleep state? In deep sleep state, there is no duality, because the mind has gone up to sleep. And this is why you feel totally rested. Other sleep state, the rapid eye movement, REM state to 7 stages of sleep, going into the 7th stage is the deep sleep state. During this stage, 1st to 6th stage, your REM state, rapid eye movement state, when you are going through, mind is working continuously. Many of you wake up and still tired because you were having dreams and or tiredness or thinking, or exhausted after sleep also. Deep sleep state takes away. Sansara is the duality, takes away. So many people today say, so the deep sleep is the answer, but it is not the answer, because Mandukya goes ahead and says, yes, you can't experience the duality, but the seed of the duality is there. The Bija Avastha. In Bija Avastha, it is there. How do we know that? Because when you wake up, you're again back to your good health or bad health, your cough or fever. When you come out, you're still there. If your leg had problem and a backache, you still get up with that. If you had a bad relationship problem or good relationship, happiness, you're still woken up to that. You still have your financial situation, bank and debts, or abundance of money, whatever that state, when you wake up, you come back to that state. But the deep sleep state itself is a happy state. So many say, then let's stay in deep sleep. That is not the answer. Because if that be the answer, in fact, though it is not the answer, many people take resort to that. What else is going into drinking habits and getting intoxicated and flaking out, or drugs, and or many kind of injections and things like that, and heroines and things which going into that state. And you have to still get up from it. When you come out of it, you're still in it. It is not the answer. So what is the answer? We're going to, in the yogic process, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, he says the no mind state, you will get it. Remember, refreshing, ayama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. 8 limbs. Till comes the dhyana, 7 limb, and the 8th is the samadhi. In the samadhi, you go to no mind state. But supposing a TV show is disturbing a lot, ghost movie, just now Halloween day went, terrible Halloween movie. I'm scared, I don't want to watch it. So yogi says, don't watch. Switch off the TV. pull out the plug. This is the yogic principle. Vedanta says, just watch, but know it's only a movie. When you know, you become avani bhave, no mind state. When you are aware, this is only a movie. And this is where is the status called, this is a play of the samsara. So to make you understand this, let me go back to that story which we have referred to many a time. Princess of Kashi, very powerful story, beautiful story. I keep referring to it again and again. Remember Princess of Kashi? There is this kingdom. Varanasi, Kashi was the kingdom of capital of India. And a neighboring village, there was another neighboring, not village, a kingdom. There was the queen and the king, and they had a young boy, 5 years old, prince. And there was celebration for his birthday. So they decided to make a play. Queen said, why don't you all make a play? And the play was of Princess of Kashi. Kashi princess was neighboring, very beautiful, pretty lady, young girl, 5 years old. And in the play, they were trying to look for somebody young, very pretty, could not find. They came to the queen. The queen thought, and he said, hey, listen, my son is very young, same age, 5 years. Why don't you dress him up like the princess? And they did it, and the prince looked really like Princess of Kashi, very pretty, very beautiful. At the end of the show, Queen was so pleased. Queen told the courtesan, the painter of the kingdom, why don't you make a painting out of him? The royal painter made a painting out of him. It was very beautiful. Queen kept it few days in her room, and then it was sent to the basement cellar. Now, Prince continued to grow. 15 years passed. He's now 20 years of age. And he's doing a lot of princely things, becoming very good. King, queen are very proud of him. And studying, hunting, learning weapon training, knowledges. He goes around and searching around the castle, and he goes into the basement. And he finds this painting. He sees little dirt and all. He cleans it up. And the people who were with him, they clean it and put it up in front of him. And he looks at the painting and he said, wow, she's so pretty. And he sees there, Princess of Kashi written down. And he sees the date. He says, strange, same date of birth as mine. And he falls in love with her. And now he doesn't tell anybody, but he is totally in love with her. And all the time in his mind is that girl. He's roaming around, absent-minded. Suddenly, king, queen started to notice he's not paying attention to things. He's hardly eating, moping around. And he's feeling shy. They want to tell the king and the queen. One of the minister who has seen Prince growing up, he said, okay, king, okay, queen, I will go and talk to him. He goes and asks the prince, so prince, what ails thee? What is bothering you? The prince chose to speak to them because he had seen him right from childhood. He said, sir, I'm in love. The minister said, very nice. Who is the girl? She's Princess of Kashi. I said, really? So nice. I'm already imagining the royal wedding, the minister said. So how did you meet her? No, I have not met her. I've seen a painting. You've seen a painting? Okay, where is the painting? No, painting is not of the night now. Painting is long time back when she was young girl. I said, yeah, show me the painting. The prince takes the minister to show the painting in the basement. And as the minister sees the painting, everything flashes back into his mind. And he tells, Prince, please sit down. Friends, this is not Princess of Kashi. So, Prince said, doesn't matter. Whoever she is, I'm going to marry her only. Otherwise, my life is lost. The minister said, Wait, let me tell you. And then he narrates the whole story. And just see, the moment Prince came to know, Manaso Avani Bhavi, the moment came to know, be aware.
It's 12 o'clock.
His Dvaita, that dualism vanished. And he realizes that Princess and him are not separate, they are one. Now, why did his desire to get married vanished instantly? Is it because the minister said, no, you can't marry her because she's already married? Or you can't marry her because she is dead? No. He just said, Prince, Tat Tomasi, you are that. And this is the message of Vedanta for you and I. The moment we realize this, automatically that Avani Bhava, that duality goes away and we become one. With this, let me close today's session. And should you have any questions, go ahead and ask. You're welcome to write your questions. I have many questions I've received. Next session, again, I will take on question answer. With the completion of this, how do we reach to this Avani Bhava, no mind state? It is not like the yogi. Yogi would have told Prince, close your eyes, don't look at her, forget about her. She is not your type. Or she's already married, forget about her. Something like that. But Vedanta says, no, you are that. Tat Tomasi. Any question? Get back to the screen, please. So, have a beautiful Diwali holiday, have fun, and do some good reading, good reflection. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Listen. Listening are three types. In the Vedanta, it talks about listenings are of three types. One is upside down pot, in which I want to put something. So I put the water of knowledge, but it is upside down. The bottom is on top. So the water falls and goes out. Nothing goes inside. Second type of listening is the pot is right way up, but it has got a hole in it. So I'm listening, but whatever coming in, the knowledge, it's also leaking out totally. And third type of listening is, these are the three types which should not be in Shravana, laid down rules by Shankaracharya. Third type is, I am putting, there is no hole, it will not leak, but there is garbage inside, like our mind. And I'm trying to say, no, 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 yes, 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 I don't agree with it. How can it be? Let me find out some more. I'm listening with garbage. So that water cannot be used. There's a beautiful story of the Himalaya near Gangotri. There is a story from, I've heard it from Swami Sarvapriyananda. He's saying, I was sitting down and eating an apple. I was feeling hungry because the food there, you get very little. I plucked an apple from one of the tree and was eating it. When another monk came and sat, and in front of me was the river Ganga flowing. And it was turbulent time. A lot of mud and trees and plants. This rainy season time was flowing down. He said, can you see that river? It's filled with dirt and muck. You know, he said, Vishay ka man aisa hi hota hai. Vishay is people like me. You know, we are always attached with our property and money and family and job and relationship, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And that water, the monk says to Sarvapriyananda, cannot be used for anything. You cannot give it to anybody. Not only that, it's very dangerous, strong current. If you try to cross the river, it will flow you. And Sarvapriyananda is saying just a few days back, somebody drowned also in that. He says, but if you come back here, somewhere in this time, November, December, January, the water is crystal clear. Even if you put a little coin, you can see the coin down there, and you can cross the river, and you can take this water. It's the holiest of the water. The other water is also holy, but it is fully muddy. You can't drink it. This water you can drink. I don't know if you know, there are monks who are in this, they drink only this Ganga water, not the corporation water. So with that, I pray, may the Divine Mother, our Guru Devas, Babaji, Krishna, Divine Mother, and Swami Vivekananda, Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharada, Paramahamsa Yogananda, Yukteswar, Giri Lahari Masai, bless us all and make our journey fruitful so that we attain that oneness and not separatedness, and throw away that separatedness. Become one with everyone. All of us are one with different body, different name, different form, but the consciousness is one. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.